Centuries before planes, trains and merchant ships brought our world closer together, the Silk Road was the lifeblood of international trade. A trade route connecting China to Europe since 200 BC, the Silk Road was travelled by merchants of all nationalities in search of treasures, riches and life-changing adventure. My name is Graham Langford, and in this series we're on an epic journey of discovery along the Chinese section of the Silk Road. Starting out in the ancient capital of Xi'an and finishing in the extraordinary Islamic city of Kashgar, we'll be exploring how the Silk Road shaped the places and the lives of the people in this part of the world. Our journey will take us through scorching deserts, soaring mountains, bustling cities and awe-inspiring ancient monuments, whilst all the while hearing the incredible stories of those people who make the region one of the most fascinatingly diverse places on the planet. Welcome to the Chinese Silk Road. Our journey begins right here, in the central Chinese city of Xi'an. As the ancient capital of China, this is where the Silk Road began, and it was from here that Chinese merchants started their 7,000 kilometre journey west to Europe. In its Silk Road heyday, Xi'an became the richest city in the world and was attracting traders and merchants from all across the globe, developing into a cosmopolitan city that was like nowhere else on Earth. Today, Xi'an is a thriving metropolis with a population similar to London, and yet it still doesn't even make the top 10 most populated cities in China. The Silk Road's influence on Xi'an can be most clearly seen in the city's Muslim quarter, so I headed in to check it out for myself. Islam itself travelled along the Silk Road and into China, and today Xi'an is home to more than 100,000 Muslims, with most of them being direct descendants of the Islamic traders from the West who chose to settle in Xi'an after their long journey on the Silk Road. Tucked away deep inside the Muslim quarter is a real gem of Xi'an, the Great Mosque. The mosque has stood in Xi'an since 742, and it is still the centre of Muslim worship in the region today. In the days of the Silk Road, many traders would come here before setting off in order to pray for a safe journey to the west.
现在的这个穆斯林呢，就是当时的海上丝绸之路和陆上的海上丝绸之路把伊斯兰教传到了中国，所以呢，这个西安呢也是个古都嘛，也是丝绸之路的起点。如果没有丝绸之路，就没有中国的回回民族，因为呢，我们的祖先阿拉伯人、中亚人、波斯人把伊斯兰宗教、文化、药材带到了中国呀。本清真寺呢是1273年的历史，这个在全中国就唯一的一座，叫汉唐风格宫殿式的一所伊斯兰寺院。你们看一下这个牌匾，这是我的太爷写的《古兰经》的开宗明义的首句，比斯明俩先拉哈马尼拉希。穆斯林呢，比方诵读《古兰经》，屠宰动物、吃饭喝水、干美好的事，必须诵读这段经文的，也就是以真主的名义开始做事。全世界信奉伊斯兰的穆斯林念的最多的一个经文呢，就是这句。
It's a really calm and peaceful place to be here, kind of tucked away in the back streets of the Muslim quarter of Xi'an. It's really hard to believe, actually, that we're only a few yards away from the busy street that we were just on. You know, all of the noise and the action has just kind of fallen away and come down to peace and quiet. However, we couldn't stay relaxing at the mosque for long, as it was time to begin our journey west on the Silk Road. Leaving the city behind us, we are quickly enveloped by the vast beauty of the Qinling Mountains. Buried deep in the heart of these peaks is our next stop, the Maiji Shan Grottos. A series of cave shrines carved meticulously into the mountainside, Maiji Shan has been an important site of Buddhist pilgrimage for over 1,500 years. Construction of the grottos here in Maiji Shan began in the late 4th century. By the early 5th century, a monk named Tan Hung arrived here from Xi'an. Together with another monk named Xuan Gao, they built a thriving monastic community of up to 300 monks. However, Buddhism did not always have a smooth ride in China during this time. Under the new Beiwei dynasty, about 20 or 30 years after they had established their community, Buddhism came under intense scrutiny, where monks were killed just for practicing their beliefs. Tan Hung fled south to Cochin, China, or modern-day Vietnam. And it was here that, most probably in protest against the scrutiny that Buddhism was under in China at the time, that Tan Hung burned himself to death. It is, however, important to point out that the subsequent rulers of the Wei dynasty actively supported the practice of Buddhism, and thus Maiji Shan began to thrive and grow once again. It is Maiji Shan's position on a crossroads of the northern Silk Road and southern routes down to Southeast Asia that give it a rather unique flavour. Maiji Shan is widely regarded as the first meeting point between Western and Eastern Buddhism. And what is interesting about the sculptures and art here is that actually they display quite a large influence from India and even Southeast Asia. It's quite easy to see, even this early on in our journey on the Silk Road, the cultural clash that really happened in this part of the world.